Yeah.
Hi, good morning to everyone. How are you? I hope you're fine. Our people in YouTube following the team conference. The conference in this edition started this morning with two sessions, the session of education innovation and also the communication track. And now we have the official meeting, the official opening meeting of the conference. Here with me is Alicia, that is in charge of managing everything in the conference, and also our keynote speaker, Daniel Burgos, from the University International of La Rioja. Well, I'm going to start this official session with the opening of the conference. Team 2020 is here. Welcome to this 8th edition of International Conference of Technology Ecosystem for Enhancing Multiculturality. Saying 2020 means that it never is like we thought 1 year ago in the previous closing session in León, when no virus, no disease were in our lives. It has been so hard. All of us know people that have suffered from COVID-19 effects. It's been not easy to start our lecture again, continue with our research activities and projects, and make decisions in our institution and research groups. Today, all together, should be in Salamanca, making this opening, but the coronavirus changed our plans and our way of life. Seeing the situation last spring, we asked the team community what should do with this edition. Cancel it? Go online? The answer was unanimous. Team must be celebrated. We must carry on with the conference. Well, we're here. The challenge was again on our side because we decided to organize the same quality research event in the previous editions, with traditional call for papers, paper review, proceedings publishing in ACM. However, the event itself must be completely different from the classic presentation sessions orientation that all of us see in other conference. The call has been successful, more successful than I never thought. And entirely comparable with previous editions, with more or less 216 submissions, 159 acceptations, with participation of 26 countries, and organized all of them in 15 tracks. The presentations of the accepted papers have been submitted in video format and are openly accessible in the conference websites in the paper in video section. However, the conference tracks are organized by different events like roundtables, webinars, workshops, gamified activities. All of them will be openly streamed on YouTube. The information about the final program also is in the website. And we have 3 intensive working days, and we hope you enjoy this new and different edition. We are excited about the proposal we offer from the team conference community, but we miss you. And we hope we need being face-to-face with all of you again. We are praying this will be real next October 2021 in Barcelona, but we'll talk about this in the closing section next Friday. Nevertheless, in the meantime, please be careful, be safe, and enjoy Team 2020. Thank you very much. The conference activities started this morning at 9:30 with track 6 about education and innovation and track 10 about communication, education, and social media. And now this opening session is completed by a keynote. This keynote is entitled Openness as Key Factor to Support Education in Time of Crisis by my well friend, Daniel Burgos. Daniel Burgos has an impressive curriculum He's full professor of technologies for education and communication and vice rector of the international research at the Universidad Internacional de La Rioja. Besides, he holds the UNESCO Chair on Learning and the ICD Chair in Open Educational Resources. Many publications, participation in projects, collaboration with universities and institutions worldwide, but Daniel is an international reference for the open education and open science movement, an excellent speaker, and as you will see in a moment. However, I will have to underline this main characteristic for me. I will say he's a very accessible person, always ready for collaboration, a very good friend. Daniel, thank you so much for this keynote, and the floor is yours.
What can I say now? That I'm going to to cut this starting point of the recording, and I am going to submit it to my wife, my mom, my son, because it's really touchy. Thank you so much, Fran. You are always supportive. And also thank you, Alicia, for all the technical support, organization, and everything else. You are also and always multitasking. You're a beautiful team to work with. And it's an honor to be here and for me that you invited me to open the Congress. Team is a reference worldwide and during so many years. I think that always follows the strict process for all the academic standards about the papers and the contributions, and at the same time always provides an additional close touch, human touch to the relations that this comes directly from Salamanca and Fran's team, which is a very good combination because you can write academic things and at the same time you can have a very close interaction with other colleagues and the organization, which makes the experience very personal. So thank you for that, and it's an honor to be here. I'm going to share now my screen with the presentation for today. If someone allows me to share my screen, please. 1 second, it's just a minute, and I will share now. So I was commenting that, ready now, good. So I think I'm going to share the presentation right away. Okay, that's good. So I was commenting that team is a reference, and it's always ready to discuss about the challenges and how the things are at current state right now, and also thinking of the future and midterm, and also at short term, how things will be, okay? And one of the key topics that is, I think is striking right now, for some years now, maybe 15 years or so, it's a millennial topic, okay? It's the open movement, the open approach, the open spirit in education and science, not just education, but also open science. Alicia, Fran, and myself, we along with other colleagues working in a project focused on open education. I will discuss this later, I will present it later. Open Game is called the project, but also we share some publications, and of course we share the concern about how open can be really useful in these times, more than ever now, okay? So when we were discussing the title for the heading for this presentation, we thought that highlighting openness in the concept of open education and open science was going to be a really nice and really nice keyword, okay, to work with. So in our case, right now, we talk about openness as the key factor to support education. This is at least what I think about openness in these current times, okay? If you want to know a little more about what we do, what I do, a little more about the activities, papers, or whatever, this is my personal website, transgeniclearning.com. You can go there. You can also enroll if you want to subscribe to get any newsletter. I'm a little behind, sorry. I'm not writing anything for the last 2-3 months. Still catching up with many things, but I will write soon again. So you can go there, of course, and get up to date about the things that we do, myself and my research team, very much focused on the topic of today. If you know UNIR, Universidad Internacional de La Rioja, in Spain, is an open, 100% open university. We are millennials also. We started 11 years ago. So everything is digital since the beginning. And we, since the beginning, work with open courses, open access, open technology, a number of openness things there, okay? So far, we've got 40,000 students enrolled with a number of faculty members, almost 200 programs, undergraduate and graduate, including 3 PhD programs, which is not that easy to develop and implement. 100% online, as I said before. Before the pandemic, everything was online, but the examinations that had to be face-to-face. But now everything is online, definitely, at the end. So we have to deal also, I think, like in many other universities, with one of our main concerns, which is the e-assessment. How can we actually develop and implement a very thorough, accurate, and fair assessment online? We've got premises in 7 or 8 countries in Latin America, many of them, Colombia and Ecuador, most of them, and also Mexico. And recently we opened a branch in Miami in the United States too, and in Lima in Peru. Well, this is a little up to date. We don't have 27 urban projects anymore. We have now 31 and 15 self-funded and 15 contracts, so a number of research activities there, over 100 research agreements, and also we hold a number of chairs with UNESCO ICD. Why I'm telling you that? It's not just because of the profile of the university, just to tell you that what I'm going to explain right now is from our experience. I will not talk about theoretical things. No, it's directly from experience, a successful experience in an online university. In my institute called Institute for Technology and Educational Innovation, we work with a number of topics, as you can see there: formal, informal, learning analytics, performance, student behavior, a number of things. And all of them under the same slogan, better learning and better teaching. We are very much focused on taking care of the student, taking care of the teacher, both things at the same time. When you read there, teacher, you can name it university professor, vocational teacher, tutor, academic support, whatever coming from the docent part of the layer. And when you say they are learning, better learning, you can say learner, you can say student, you can say apprentice, or any type of role that you can have there, okay? So we can work on both sides, okay? And now we have to work on about all these things in a new setting, which is the times of crisis. And I want to really highlight this part, okay? Times of crisis, in plural, okay? Crisis, because we are focused on the pandemic, COVID-19, but it's just one of many. This is a picture of how many wars, they call them conflicts, but in many cases they are wars, open wars, with 3 color traffic light there in green, orange, and red, over 50 across the world, and some of them are not even listed, okay? Here is an interactive map. Well, sorry, I put the link, but I think that it will be really difficult just to follow the link right now. Maybe I could, next time I can write a bit.ly, a short link there to be a little easier to follow. But anyway, you can get the picture. This is the migration map. So there are migration conflicts and waves in every single continent, okay? Yeah, over 200 all over the world. And this is also a crisis. And this is the result of the Katrina hurricane. And this is what happened with the tsunami in Southeast Asia. And this is the last earthquakes in Mexico, which to Alicia, Fran, and myself mean something special because we have many people, dear people there, and many of them went through this terrific, terrible, episode, okay? This is from Nepal also, earthquake that happened 3 years ago. And this even happened in Mount Everest, where 200 people were, I don't know, went through a terrible experience there. So it's happening everywhere. We have crisis all the time. This is what is happening today with COVID, okay? This is the last picture coming from the WHO. You can see there, I took it this morning, well, a couple of hours ago. And today they've been 40 million confirmed cases of COVID-19, including over 1 million deaths, okay? So is the pandemic, is a pandemic, but it's not the only one. There are many things happening there, okay? So we have to be very careful that when we think about the crisis, we just don't stick to the COVID-19 because things happen all the time. Human-made natural disasters, all the time is happening. So we can take advantage of this crisis, pandemic crisis, and implement new resources, new ways of working, new methodologies, or adopt things that were already developed in the past and we want to put it here up front, thinking that it will not be the last time that we will use them. We are talking now about online learning, but online learning happened for the last 25 years since the very early moments of World Wide Web in the 1995, 96. And now it's very popular because everybody has to jump there. Everyone has to jump, yeah. And from primary schools, you see kids, 10-year-old kids, all the time connected with through Teams or Zoom or YouTube or any other communication channel or tool, connected to the teachers and to the peers and talking and doing things and going to the school on Monday and on Tuesday staying at home and still having the same experience and having a sort of a blended learning approach. And many of these things happen in 3 months. So we were fighting for 30 years. 3 months made more for online and blended learning than the last 30 years, okay? Everything was prepared there, the soil, but we had to move fast and quick. So take advantage of that. Is even there is a tragedy. Take advantage and try to replicate and transfer this experience to the next epidemics, the next disasters, and the normal, regular life, beauty, happy life without not epidemic even, because we can learn many things from today's experience to get things implemented and last in time, okay? Ministry of China of Education, I was working with them a few months ago for this thing about the pandemic. They asked our help and support, and I like very much one of their reports, okay? They talk about disruptive classes and disruptive learning, which I like it very much. I think it was a very nice slogan, okay? So the point is that you can have a natural disaster like the pandemic, you have a lockdown, confinement, mobility restrictions, people dying, people getting sick, but education can happen still. So we can have a seamlessly experience about learning there, okay? My friend and colleague Saida Fune from Agnayah National University in Palestine. Hello, if you are seeing this, I'm not sure about that, but I will resend you later the link with the recording, so you can say me hello back to me. She moved a traditional face-to-face university to a fully online university in the Faculty of Education. She's the Dean of Education in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, everything was transferred there, okay? For the migration was complete. So they had to adapt. So the learning experience was undisrupted, as my colleagues in China say. We have to keep in mind that our work as teachers and researchers focused on emerging technologies and education is really of high purpose, okay? We are teachers, to name it. Every time that someone says, what is your function? What is your role? What is your profession? I usually say a teacher or researcher, but most of the times I say teacher. I'm a teacher, regular teacher, and I do many other things. But it's teaching what I do and what I feel inside me, okay? And as a teacher, we work very much with all these sustainable development goals from the United Nations, okay? And number 4 is there, which is ours, quality education. But we have to think that our role, it happens also to other sustainable development goals, okay? But in our case, our role is not actually isolated in number 4, quality education, because education is fully related to a decent work and economic growth, is related to good health, is related with zero hunger, is related also to responsible consumption and production, is related to a number of other sustainable development goals, okay? So in fact, quality education, number 4, is the backbone for many others. So what we do as a teachers really has an impact in many other sectors and activities and goals. So when we discuss now that we can work seamlessly and we can have undisruptive learning and we can provide support to students, to teachers, academic managers, parents, and a number of stakeholders or characters there, what we are saying actually is that we can provide an additional support beyond education. Education is just the excuse to give a more cross approach to the current setting, to the current scenario. So with this in mind, with this scope, this approach in mind, I want to focus on learning analytics and personalization, because this is one of the solutions that we can face when we talk about open education. And I will change this topic to the next one so you can see the narrative, okay? When we talk about learning analytics and personalization, we can work with teachers, learner and academic managers, a number of different people on different roles. And what we are doing actually is retrieving, categorizing, and processing and providing an outcome out of that based on data. And with openness, we retrieve much data that we can later process. So in my head, when we talk about open education and openness, it's not that we just provide some resources online and people can pick it up and that's it. Like all the papers that are open in YouTube, and you can go there and click in this out of this amazing conference, Team 20. That's one thing, okay? But also the data behind is also happening there, and it's also really good also for us to use it. So we can actually personalize the experience. So when we talk about learning analytics and personalization, taking the data from the open, from any type of open access, open framework, open source, open technology, open experience at the end, what we can do is work with a number of tools to assess, for instance, performance, okay? How can actually behave a perform in a learning setting, in a teaching setting, in an academic management setting? How can we do that, okay? We can have the green line there going up, the blue so-so, the red line going down, okay? We can have a number of things there, which is really, really nice about performance, but this is coming from data. And when we talk about that, we have to be very careful, because we need to make the right questions when we retrieve the data, when we categorize those data. We have to say, well, for what exactly I want those data, who will be the target public, how much will be the sample, from where, and what, there is a typo there, sorry, what type of reports do I want, and with whom. So a number of pronouns there, who, how much, from where, what, with whom, for what, which will actually will make me capable of getting the picture that I really need to make a better experience for learning and teaching coming from those open data, okay? So when we do so, we have to be very thorough and try to analyze, retrieve, categorize, and implement a number of data. And once we do that, one of the things to carry out is a clustering process, a group analysis that is focused on individual goals, on technical background, on personal profile, on competence match. Whatever you can get, the more, the better, okay? In doing so, it's not just that we get an open framework, it's that we do something with that open framework beyond the open access, because openness is not just about open educational resources. It's about open educational resources, which means content, plus access, plus data, plus a number of things in addition. At the end, what we can get is something like this, which is a dashboard of the performance of one student in one specific course with a prediction of what will happen in the future. And we can do so based on the activity of this student offline, online, in proprietary software, and in open access tools, resources, communication platform, or channels, okay? So these dashboards can be really, really useful when we talk about open education. Why? Because if I'm a traditional professor and I go into one of these beautiful rooms there at Universidad de Salamanca, I can get how many people around? 20 people, 30, 40, 50 people, which is really a crowded. If I go to the auditorium, maybe I get 200, okay? If I go online, I can have 1,000. I can have 1 million. But still, the experience of learning and teaching should be interactive. So it's not just that I give my speech and people listen, take notes, if they even pay attention at all, okay? If there must be some kind of communication, mainly most focused when we teach higher degrees, meaning usually the third phase of the graduate part, for instance, whatever is master or a postgrad or a PhD program. Of course, the interaction is needed, is required, okay? And for that interaction to happen, I need to provide some feedback. If I have 1,000 people discussing things online, it's impossible that I provide an individualized feedback to everyone. I can cluster the students and say this type on the right, this type on the left, this type. So I can actually have 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of cluster and provide personalized feedback to those clusters and not the individual itself. But for that to happen, I need to collect, categorize, and manage all the data that I can. And when I do so, I can provide this feedback and any other type of support to a system of layers, being the lower layer, the peer network and the students, which is the main target for us, okay? The user experience should be focused mainly on the student, okay? But we can also provide some feedback to tutors and professors, because it's very useful for us to get these dashboards that cluster and categorize performance, experience, access, a number of things, okay? So this is another tool for us, another report to provide a personalized experience and to increase the performance and the level of achievement in competencies, specific competencies mainly to our students. We can have another layer of administrative staff, because you should remember that when a student gets enrolled in our program, whatever, a master degree, it's not us, the first phase that this student sees. It's the administrative clerk that is behind the desk, in this case, the online desk, okay, who will be attending the guy. So the administrative staff is part of the team and the experience of the student and the professor there. And he or she should be supported with some tools to behave and to perform more efficiently. And on top of that, we can provide some additional artificial intelligence, learning analytics, online support services of any kind to help on this, okay? I put there a cake because you will remember the cake. It's very easy to remember with the gut instead of the head, okay? So when we talk about these services, taking from open data and from open access, as I said before, there are a number of layers. The first one is support to students. We can talk about personalization, individualization, clustering, user performance, but we can talk about academics too. Academics meaning faculty, okay? Professors and tutors, assistant professors. So semi-automatic services based on personal progress. This is really good, okay? So you can receive some recommendation based on what you did before and some recommendation for the future about the next activity to take, for instance. And also support to administrative staff with the estimate of potential dropout and user satisfaction. This is really good because if I have 1,000 enrolled today and after the first semester, 50% drops out, I will have just 500 people the next semester. So I will not need so many resources, so many professors, so much access to our service. So I can actually make a prediction to calculate and make the estimate, the proper estimate and the resource management appropriately. And also we can have some support to economic committees, okay? For instance, the boards always thinking of budget. If I have some budget to develop a congress like this one, or academic gathering, or a translation of a book, or whatever, okay? So depending on how things are going with the course and how many people are enrolled and how many people are contributing, or how many teachers are engaged in the department to give more outcomes and to write more papers, for instance, I will know how much committed can I be with this group to provide further resources, okay? So as you see, all these support levels, students, academics, administrative staff, and economic committees can really get the benefit out of the data that are extracted from open access and content and interaction on the internet. I will give you some examples of practical things. For instance, the first one, the Squirrel, okay? This is a company in China. It's called Squirrel AI, okay, learning. And these people provide adaptive and personalized support to school students. In China, the school system is very competitive And depending on the system, you can go to one university, the next one, you have more prestigious, you are more prestige in one on there, and in this also goes into cascade for the family members. So it's really a momentum, okay? It's a milestone in everybody's life that that wants to go to the university. So having a very good performance in a school is key for the student and the family. And these people provide through a learning management system and some artificial intelligence techniques, mainly neural networks, and also they work with learning analytics in progressive statistics, and they provide the current state of how these people work and what will be the best in the future, and make the right progress to get the final goal, to achieve the competence that they actually want. And this is happening. What happened with these people, a private company, when the pandemic really outbroke there? What happened with them? That they offered the services for free, because they said, now our kids in China, you know, it's hundreds of thousands of clients because they pay. Now my kids are online, Chinese kids are online, and they are really in lockdown, confined. What we should do is give up for free. And they are giving open and free access to a number of services so people can get connected and keep on this undisruptive learning experience. The second example is a number of tools that maybe you know or you have worked with. This is authorware, for instance. This is back to the 90s, because it was very, I think, very before than online services and even the internet happened. So maybe the 90s, I don't remember right now. And authorware is a way to create. Authorware makes interactive and adaptive units of learning. The same than LAMPS, that I know that you know about the LAMPS from Australia. They create interactive and adaptive units of learning, so you can actually provide a personalized process to every student based on the data. Now these people work also with open access licenses for retrieving information from social networks, for instance, through the single sign-on process. And also we have a couple more, Desire to Learn and Keynote. All these people work with teachers to provide personalized experience based on the combination of settings, including formal and informal learning, formal and informal settings, open data, and proprietary in a sensible way. We have case number 3, which is in China again, from Beijing Normal University. They have 2 centers. One is called Big Data Center for Technology Mediated Education. Another one is called Smart Learning Institute. And these people work with open education, open educational resources, open access, and provide an additional layer focused on e-games and artificial intelligence. So actually, you can Google them. It's pretty easy to find and see the projects they have. What we do is combining both things, which is on the one side, the access to software, tools, and services, and on the other side, access to the data provided by the users, to combine both, okay? At the end, all these 3 cases, what we do is one of the things that I want to sell here today, that the integration of formal and open education is a useful resource also in times of crisis. As I said before, not just in times of crisis. It can happen anytime. We are doing this for 20 years now, okay? So it happened before and it will happen later. But now it's a very good solution, okay? We can integrate informal and open education, taking into account all this data and all these analytics out of that. And how so? Because there are a number of pillars in open education. You have 9 pillars there, as we have published sometimes. We have content, as we said, access, technology, data. We've been discussing this before, and this is the link that I said. I will tell later why the link is here in the to the first part of the speech. So research data, research results, licensing policy, accreditation, and certification. There are 9 pillars for open education. You can also find a number of other diagrams, like this one coming from the European Commission, with the 10 dimensions of open education, also focus on content, access, research, collaboration. There are a number of things that are there with this chessboard. I don't know how to call it, very colorful. But at the end, what we got is content, services, and data. This is what we got, okay? So we can work with all of them. For instance, to facilitate this, okay? Last WAC focused on functional diversity that work very much with open access and open research results, okay? So we can make a website on a course accessible to, you know, this is measured in A's, AA, AAA, depending on that, the level, the degree of compliance with the functional diversity requirements, okay? But this is coming again from the open approach of working with data, content, and services. And I can give you now a number of examples, and we are just close to the end, just 6 slides to go. This is full of examples right now. The first example that we got is this, FADA, okay? This is a way to work with open content, open resources, open data, open access, and even though connecting interoperable systems. FADA connects Mahara with Moodle and the space. I'm telling you now technical names, should you know them, to create the first repository of educational resources full in Arabic. Okay, so this is really nice for Arabic speaking persons because it provides a single sign-on to all the services and the resources stored through the branding of FADA. We also have this one here, which is the Open Educational Resource University, which is based in New Zealand with our friend Wayne McIntosh. He's the leader of this. And they provide full access through OER, through Open Educational Resources, to a number of subjects, a number of courses in official accredited bachelor degrees, for instance, computer science. You can go and get registered in the first course of computer science. All the textbooks will be open access based. So you can go there and study half price because you will be paying tuition, but the tuition will be teaching. It will not be the resources. So it will be easier and cheaper for everyone. Also, this have here is a project called Mundus Atlas, which shows the OER across the world. You can go there, click, and one card will pop up and you can follow up and access the resources that are depicted in this sort of Google Map view. We also have a number of examples of open institutions. Before were open services. For instance, this open institution is called Keynote. Maybe you know them. These people were with refugees coming mainly from Syria and Lebanon into Europe. They provide them with support for the continuation of their studies where they left them. So there is a sort of recognition system. So people that made 3 full academic years in Damascus, for instance, in linguistics or in chemistry or in computer science education, they can follow up in Europe in a number of universities, mainly in France and in Germany, and going into the 4th year instead of starting from the beginning, which is what happened before. And they do all this based also on open educational resources, so the refugees don't have to pay tuition and they don't have to pay either the resources. Another one is Khan Academy. You know Khan Academy, of course, very famous to learn mathematics in every level. Another one now focused on resources is YouTube. I want to be provocative here. Why? Because YouTube is cool. It depends very much on what you put in there, okay? You can find many useful and interesting courses, non-formal courses, informal tips. You can find the papers of this Congress, Team 20 there. You can find very useful things, okay? You are accessing this session through YouTube, okay? Of course, you can find some garbage, but this happens everywhere. It's our criteria who has to do the selection process just to go into what is actually meaningful, okay? But for resources and for the students, YouTube could be really great because one of the things that we need to get into account is that we need to adapt to what the students actually do, not the other way around. So if we can mingle around, we can actually merge into their tools and services, for instance, WhatsApp or YouTube or Facebook, just to name 3 very famous things, but not now should be TikTok, for instance, okay? And we can provide courses in TikTok. People will have really tumble down the stone wall of getting a new tool to do things. They will be in their tool doing different things, which is really good. So YouTube could be one case, or for instance, we have here Merlot, another resource hub focused on lesson plans for teachers. You have 100,000, I think, so far, 100,000 lesson plans of in any subject, of any access. You can go there, retrieve them, modify, edit them. You can take them back again, upload them back, so you can share also the result of the adaptation. Very good for teachers and professors. We have another case study here, which is the video repository in my university. I will sell now local, okay? tvunir.net, you have it there, the link up there. So this is a video cast. Through this level, we have the iceberg metaphor implemented. We have a little of open and free access. It will be 20%, so you can go there without registration and you can click and retrieve video lectures. We have video lectures. Also, the register and free access. This means that you have to leave your data, so actually later I can sell you something, but still it will be for free, because usually this is a controversy here. Open and free is not the same. It's not the same. So there are two different concepts applied, okay? So in the beginning, it's open and free. Here is register and free, so it's not open, but it's free. And the last one is just for the fully registered students at the university. So at the end, what we have is 20-20-60, okay? 40% are freely accessible, and 20% are even openly accessible. And so far, we have registered there over 500,000 pieces, 500,000 pieces, video lectures, open classes, keynotes, a number of things, okay? This is a lot. You have over 200,000 video units for free if you want to go there. And this is a nice combination between private and public, because my university is a private university. Whatever we don't charge, it costs us money, okay? So it's actually, it's an investment for us. It's part of our social responsibility approach, okay? But anyone can really benefit of, can get benefit of this approach through open and free access. We have also another portal called opened.unir.net, where we upload the result of research projects, mainly courses. You have a number, you can find a number of logos there: Keystone, Inspiring Science, Humanity, OpenMed, all of them. Once they are finished, we upload the courses for free to this portal. You can go there, you can log in, and you get it for free. Mainly they are in English, but also they are in other languages as they were supported through the project. For instance, in Finnish, or in Macedonian, or in Greek, in French, in Arabic, in Spanish. They are in many languages. You can go there for free also. It's not open, it's free, so you have to get registered, okay? And one of the things that will be in the future is a project called Open Game, which we are now halfway. In fact, we are reporting this very week. We are reporting the 50% of the project, along with my colleagues in Salamanca, Fran, Alicia, and other people, and other colleagues. In total, we are 7 partners across Europe, and we are developing a game focused on open education and open educational practices, okay? You can go to the link, Open Game Project, and you can get the latest news there. A fully operational course will be ready soon, in a matter of days, and a fully operational game, playable game, will be ready after the end of the year, okay? Another case, and the last one, is this here, is the open education policy that we wrote at UNIR. You can get it in English, open policy, and in Spanish, Educación Abierta. They are the bit.ly. This, I remember to provide a short link for this, not like before. This is a policy from the university, because one of the things that we need to remember is that when you do something related to open, meaning practices, resources, access, the whole university, everybody there must support, okay? Shouldn't be a freelance sniper isolated effort, because this will not last. You have to involve everyone. So in this policy, we wrote it 3 years ago, and 27 academic members of the university supported this, meaning everyone there, vice rectors and deans and everyone. And it went also through the scrutiny and review by the academic community. So over 30 reviewers were also from every single continent, experts across many fields and disciplines, review and provide their useful inputs there. You can go there. It's free to use, reuse, share alike, like in the Creative Commons licensing. So the closing thought to me, and the last slide, is that the open education and open science, I include open science here, very important, it's just open education, require an open understanding and spirit. So open goes in every single aspect, also the understanding. There are many people that see this like a binary process, either you are open or you are closed, and this is not completely right. You can be half-half. You can work with proprietary resources and also with open access. And I've given you now a number of examples where these things have been successfully implemented. It's possible and it's open. So I'm very much in favor of the scale of grades. Okay, like the movie. So openness means many things, and all of them might be valid. This is a very powerful sentence. So please, we should avoid this polarization, going from corner to corner, because this means nothing. And also, if they are well implemented, openness in general, access, technology, data, as we were discussing, mean a key to support and to boost learning and teaching. This is what I strongly believe. Also in times of crisis, not just now, not only for now, also for now, okay? So don't forget that once everyone gets the vaccine and the pandemic is looking the rear back, in the rear mirror, or something in the past, something will come later, and still we can get all these successful practices and techniques implemented for everyone. So if you have any question or to get any in contact with me, there are my contact information, data there. So the email, the link to the institute where I work usually, and mainly, and the link to my personal blog, along with a beautiful logo, by the way. Congratulations. I like very much the look and feel of the Congress this year. So thank you, everyone, and open for any interaction as Fran and Alicia will host right now.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for your keynote, for your fantastic conference. Well, we have several people seeing us in YouTube. If they want to make any question, please do it in the YouTube chat, and we translate it to Daniel. But meantime, perhaps some questions for interaction, no? Well, we agree. This is not open. Is not only for coronavirus. There are too many crises, but perhaps coronavirus is the detonator of all of this discussion. But what do you think about the future? Do you think when this pandemic pass, the open access and the open movement pass through, or this is a way to change the perceptions and the acceptation of the open movement for the academic, from the academic perspective?
I think that depends very much on the target, on the stakeholder or the group of people working on this. Many people are really grateful that there are so many courses online and a lot of people really thinking through how to make things better and easier and more effective. You there at the University of Salamanca are doing a great hell of a job with all this migration from face-to-face to virtualization, as it is called, and people will be grateful. People are grateful, okay, because it's a lot of extra work. The learners, the teachers, they can keep working and learning and interacting. It's in a change completely of the setting is different, and still you are there providing the support, okay. This is happening in many places. It's happening this, and people are really grateful. And I think that this will open definitely the window to include open access education resources from here in the future. And the second thing is that if you speak from the all these things cost money, as I said usually, okay. Open is not, maybe it's free for someone, but someone has to pay, okay. We provide a service for free, someone is supporting. I'm getting access through this Zoom. I'm in Zoom right now, but people are in YouTube. and you will pay. I'm sure that you are paying this. It is an invoice they are paid by someone. Okay, so if I go from this management side, open education can make things a little less expensive. So it's also good to open the impact and to make the budget more reasonable in some way. And since economic crisis is coming along with the health crisis, we have to face the recovery together. And this means that for the next, I don't know, the economists will say 5-10 years, we have to struggle with these economic perspectives, okay? So open education will ease the budgets also. So if we take it from the user experience, the experience is good, people like it, and we all enjoy very much having 1,000 people coming from 5 continents or 6 if we take the penguins in. But from the management side, it also means a release of a number of struggles, economically speaking. So I see a number of bright sides there, a number of upsides. And I guess, my personal experience is that they will come here to stay, maybe adapted to times, because people really lack the experience of getting some coffee together and to meet face to face. But the coexistence of both things, the blended approach, I think that will survive, and it will be the trend in a very short future, in my view.
We have a lot of media open, YouTube, Twitter, WhatsApp, and comments are arriving from different controversial or opposite views of the terms that you are presented in the conference. For example, the difference between free and open, and also the importance of the learning analytics and the privacy are both sides of the same coin. Some opinions and comment about this.
Oh, well, about open and free, I commented before. I'm going to focus on the privacy, and if you want to come back later to that open free controversy, I'm open to the controversy too. So that's good. But about the data, the privacy, we have to be, I don't know, sensible, smart enough. I'm trying to find a balance, because of course we have now the 5G, and I remember 2 years ago, well, not even 2 years, maybe 1 year and a half, November 19. Yeah. So, well, 2 years. And I was setting an example there in a conference about how in Shanghai, in the subway of Shanghai, there are 1,000 cameras just reading your face and making facial recognition. So they track people, and they have sort of a scoreboard, like for driving license, about citizenship. And if you do something that you don't should, for instance, spitting on the floor, you get one of your points of the scoreboard being out. So you have sort of a this scoring system. So at the end, you get a percentage. You are 75% a good citizen. And this matters when you go and ask for a loan to the bank, for instance, or when you are fined and you are driving. So this citizenship behavior and scoreboard means something in your life. And I was putting the example there, and I say, this is crazy, but it's far. No, it's not far. It's right now, around the corner. United Kingdom is also with the facial recognition to sell alcohol for people above 18 years old after the curfew, I think, is 8 or 10 in night, I'm not sure. And in Spain, we have Mercadona, which is a huge supermarket chain that has announced a few weeks ago that they are installing cameras inside Mercadona for facial recognition. So just to avoid perpetrators, repeaters, offenders, whatever they want to. And they are arguing that this is a private space. If you want, you get in. And if you don't want to get facial recognized, you get out and go to another supermarket like the Carrefour, for instance, okay? So this is happening right now. So to me, the balance about privacy is they're stealing my data, or it's me who are giving away all the data. Because if I go to WhatsApp, I have to click to all these disclaimers that I don't read and nobody reads. And all of them are saying, we are taking your data. This data will go to Google, to Microsoft, to Khan. I will sell it, blah, blah, and you will receive personalized ads and blah, blah, blah. They're saying that, and nobody reads them, okay? But still I have WhatsApp, because if not, I'm out of the loop. So this is what I'm giving up for free. We should be aware of that. It happens with all the major brands, okay? With Microsoft, with Google, with Apple, with all of them, okay? The other thing is that you are taking data are taken from you without you knowing that, and with your ex-professor data. So when you talk about open means that nobody can take your data without your explicit consent. Nobody. You have to sign, explicitly sign with this last law in Europe. At least you have to sign that for free or compulsory. If you don't sign, nobody can take it, and if they take it, they are committing a crime. So if you say yes, it's up to you. You are entitled to do so, but data will be coming back and forth and trade maybe. But if you don't say yes explicitly, nobody can take care of this data and manipulate or use it for further uses. So open is not the key. Here, decency is the key, okay? The ethics go beyond the open thing. It depends on the human nature.
Thank you. We have a question of Li Yang, this a Chinese PhD that is making the PhD with us in Salamanca, and say that, could Daniel tell us something about how China government political or economical support for open education for higher education?
I'm not sure. I think that we met when I was there last year in the last week, doctoral week. I think I met her, very bright student, by the way. Hello, I hope that you are fine. I'm not that aware of, I work with China very much, but you know China, China better than I, of course, and it's immense. So I work with just very specific part of the Ministry of Education, sometimes here and there. So I have a very partial view. That's it. It's my view and it's partial, okay? But I'm aware that some of the implementers of the Ministry of Education, in this case called research institutes, universities, and schools, they are implementing tools, services, and dynamics techniques to work with open education and open educational services, which is quite paradoxical because you cannot use Google, but at the same time, you can go to an open repository. So there is a balance there, difficult to, you cannot use WhatsApp, but you can use Weibo, for instance, okay? So there is a paradox there between what is open and what is open, depending in this case of one government, okay? But I know, I am aware, and I'm part of that there are many activities around. Not completely sure if they are supported by the government, but at least they are allowed by the government because they are still working and running, at least to my knowledge.
Okay, and the last question is from Marc Allier. After this conference, he is going to be known as the singer of Hakuna Matata researcher. See his video because it's fantastic. And say, can you talk about the resistance to the open approach and strategies to overcome it?
Hello, Mark. I think that we met also in the past, so I hope that you are fine too. I think that there is a huge resistance coming from the publishers mainly, okay, the publishing companies, editorials, because of course there is a revenue model taking into account all the content. By fee, you have to pay the book, you have to pay the access, you have to pay for everything. In our case, researchers, you have to pay for publishing your paper and later for reading your own paper that you have published, and everything you work for free, and you have to pay on top of that. So it's a business, really good business. And now some people come here, Alicia, Fran, myself, say, everything should be open. I say, well, come on, and who is paying my fees? No, someone has to pay my fees. So, of course, there is a resistance against the revenue model, against the sustainability model there, because we are killing the code. This is a golden goose, and we are, but this is not the case. This is the reason why I think that we need to stress the combination of formal, informal, proprietary, and open, okay? There must be a balance. Not everything is open, and not everything can be closed. We can find, I've provided a number of examples of successful stories of combined models of partially closed, partially open, partially free, partially registered, and you can find there. You cannot go to the corners because the understanding between these two corners is impossible. Open and closed, they are antagonic. You cannot make anything, but you can put in a middle ground in between. So the resistance comes, in my view, and taking your question, out of the lack of dialogue, out of the lack of willing to get an understanding on the topics, okay? If there is an understanding to get a middle ground there, instead of a winner and a loser, because this is not the case. There's no winner-loser position here. It's a different ways of seeing the things position. The middle ground is possible, and the resistance will be, I think, the lesser evil, just to call it in a way, okay? So I guess that dialogue and the commitment to get at this middle ground is the actual key to overcome that resistance.
Well, thank you, Daniel. I think that's enough. We have fulfilled the timetable. Thank you so much for your presentation, for your keynote, for being here. Well, being in the video conference, I would prefer to be face to face in Salamanca with you and all of our community. But thank you so much again for being here with us to support us and participate in our event.
Oh, thank you all. I have to stress the great work that you and your team have done here, Alicia and the other people, because just making the migration from a face-to-face to a fully online and that interactive approach is really striking and inspiration. So I hope that many other congresses take the same approach and they steal your open approach. No, sorry, I say they reuse your open approach. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the people that have been participating in this session. Thank you all, and have a nice congress.
Okay,
Thank you
Alicia,
very much, Daniel.
do you have to say something for some note?
Yes, thank you very much, Daniel, for your conference. I think it's very interesting and it's pretty related to the new approach of the team conference for this year, because in some way the idea is to leave all the information in open way so people can use after the conference. And I invite to all the attendants that are right now on YouTube to follow the different activities that will be this afternoon, that will be focused on gamification. In the first part of the afternoon, we will have also a workshop about WebQDA that is related to qualitative analysis. Also in gamification, we have two great speakers also this afternoon. So check the program and join us. And at the end of the afternoon, we will have the doctoral consortium, a first part in English with the 1-minute thesis description, and the second part in Spanish, a discussion. So enjoy the day and also check the program for the next days. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.